Linda stood in the university courtyard, surrounded by crowds of students. She looked around, feeling completely lost in this new world. Everyone was laughing and chatting happily, but she felt like she didn't belong here. She tightly gripped her student ID, staring at the photo on the card, her own face, with a gentle smile, but eyes that clearly reflected anxiety. Linda internally, can I survive here, amongst so many strangers? Will I ever fit in? Linda walked past a group of friends laughing and joking, accidentally bumping into someone. She didn't have time to apologize and just awkwardly walked away. She quickly realized that fitting in wouldn't be as easy as she thought. The feeling of loneliness overwhelmed her. Linda entered her first class, mentally prepared to start her new journey. However, as soon as she walked in, she couldn't help but feel like an outsider. The other students had already formed groups, chatting and bonding, creating an atmosphere of connection that Linda couldn't be part of. She felt like she was standing on the outside. She sat down by the window, pulled out her books, feeling empty. Suddenly, a gentle breeze blew through, and Linda noticed a guy standing near the classroom door, holding a briefcase. He saw Linda, smiled, and struck up a conversation. Kevin, excuse me, can I sit here? Linda looked up and realized he was the typical freshman, confident and relaxed. She nodded, feeling a bit reassured by his gentle look. The morning after class ended, Linda walked out of the classroom, feeling anxious. She wanted to make friends, but didn't know where to start. Everyone seemed to have their close-knit groups, chatting happily with one another, while Linda silently walked past each group, nobody inviting her to join. She sat on a bench near the school gate, quietly watching the groups of students having fun. The feeling of loneliness crept up inside her. Everyone was laughing and joking, but Linda felt like a ghost standing silently outside their lives. She suddenly thought of her family back home and the emotional void she felt in this unfamiliar place. Kevin refused to take responsibility and continued to avoid Linda, leaving her feeling abandoned. His apologies were not enough to soothe the pain inside Linda's heart. She couldn't accept Kevin's change because she had seen him as the ideal life partner all this time. The feeling of being left alone engulfed Linda, making her feel solitary in this new world of university. She didn't know what to do next. A week after speaking with Kevin, Linda felt more and more alone. She watched other couples walking hand in hand across the campus, wondering if she could ever overcome this. She still went to class, kept studying, but there was always a big emptiness in her heart that no one could fill. At night, she often stayed up worrying about the future and the child she was about to bring into the world. Despite trying to find comfort in books or part-time work, she couldn't shake the feeling of insecurity and fear about the days ahead. This is the initial detailed part of the story, and I will continue to build details for the remaining scenes. If you want, I can continue and develop the next part of the story. One evening, when all her emotions were building up, Linda called her mother. She couldn't keep everything inside anymore and decided to share the news with her. Her mother immediately felt worried, but didn't blame her. She reassured Linda that family would always be there for her, and no matter what happened, she would always stand by her. Linda's mother on the phone. My dear, I know you can overcome everything. Remember, I will always be here, no matter what you do, where you go. Her mother's words warmed Linda's heart. But she also realized that she needed to make decisions on her own and stand strong. She couldn't always rely on her family. The next day, Linda attended a class for single mothers held at the university. She felt awkward and didn't know where to start. However, when she joined the class, she met many other women in similar situations. They shared their struggles, life changes, and supported each other step by step. Linda began to feel empathy, and this made her feel less lonely. Although Linda tried her best, studying became more difficult as she had to balance her part-time job with her pregnancy. She often felt tired and worried about whether she could complete the semester. The sleepless nights doing assignments, the moments when she felt like she couldn't go on. Linda didn't know if she could overcome it all. In one class, Linda encountered a difficult assignment that she couldn't complete. The feeling of disappointment overwhelmed her, but she didn't give up. After class, a professor came to check on her. This professor had been a single mother and could understand the struggles Linda was facing. The professor shared valuable advice and encouraged Linda not to give up. The professor smiling, "Linda, if you can overcome this challenge, you'll see how much stronger you'll become. Keep going, you won't regret it." These words of encouragement made Linda feel like she could overcome any difficulty. She took a deep breath and felt more determined than ever. The day after the class, Emily, a close friend Linda met in class, invited her for coffee. Linda told Emily about the challenges she was facing, not being able to finish her assignments, and the stress in her life. Emily listened and encouraged her not to give up. "Emily, Linda, no matter how you feel, I'm always here to help you. We'll get through this together." Emily's words made Linda feel less alone. She knew she wasn't completely alone in this journey. Linda continued her studies, but she knew that to support herself and care for her child, she had to work part-time. The job at the coffee shop was tiring, but Linda felt it helped keep her from sinking into negative thoughts. Every afternoon, after a long day of studying, Linda went to work at the coffee shop. This not only helped her earn extra income, but also gave her a sense of independence and strength. One afternoon after work, Kevin unexpectedly showed up at the coffee shop where Linda worked. He apologized for what had happened between them and expressed a desire to help her during this time. Linda couldn't help but think about it, but she couldn't easily forgive him. She had learned to stand on her own and didn't need his help anymore. Linda gently, "Kevin, thank you for coming, but I don't need you anymore. I've learned to stand on my own." Kevin looked at Linda with regret, but he understood that Linda had grown much stronger than before. Linda began to reassess herself. She didn't need Kevin to feel valuable. She had learned to face life on her own and felt proud of what she had accomplished. Sometimes she wondered if things would have been different if Kevin hadn't left her. But Linda realized that ending the relationship with him was the best thing she could do for herself and her child. Day by day, Linda started feeling stronger. She continued her studies, worked, took care of herself, and her growing baby. Even though everything was difficult, Linda no longer felt afraid. She began to see the light at the end of the tunnel. In a final presentation, Linda did exceptionally well and received praise from her professor. She felt very proud of herself. Despite facing many challenges, she had been able to stand strong and complete her work. One spring morning, Linda sat in a park near campus, gently stroking her pregnant belly. She felt peace in her heart. Though things weren't perfect, she knew she was on the right path. She smiled, feeling a small joy as she watched the children playing around her. Emily wasn't just a friend. Now, she was Linda's closest companion. They often talked, sharing their worries and joys in life. Linda felt that, even without Kevin's love, this genuine friendship had helped her become stronger in life. Linda decided to attend a student party after a long period of feeling detached. At first, she felt uncomfortable, but then she started talking to new friends. Everyone treated her kindly, and Linda felt like she had found her place in the university community. After a long time without seeing each other, Kevin approached Linda again. He apologized for everything that had happened and hoped to get a chance to start over. But Linda had changed. She realized she no longer needed Kevin in her life. Linda's smiling. Kevin, thank you for what you've done, but I've moved on. Linda had decided not to go back to the past. She no longer needed to live in regret. She had overcome all the challenges and was ready to begin a new life, independent and full of hope. Linda met Mark in an extracurricular class. Mark was gentle, caring, and always ready to help Linda when she needed it. They started dating and grew closer. Linda felt genuine love from Mark and realized that sometimes life brings new opportunities, even if they don't come from old faces. Mark and Linda officially started dating. Linda felt safe and happy in this relationship. She realized that love wasn't just a one-time thing, and every relationship could bring new lessons. Finally, Linda graduated from university. She stood on stage, receiving her diploma with joy and pride. The feeling she had wasn't just about completing her studies, but about conquering herself, overcoming all the challenges of the past years. After graduation, Linda began facing the real world and new challenges. She decided to continue learning and working to build her future and her child's. Linda found a new job and lived a life full of hope and happiness. She knew that, though the future still had many challenges, she would never stop walking on the path she had chosen. Linda, internally, I've overcome everything, and now I'm ready for a new chapter in life. From a weak, anxious girl who felt lonely in an unfamiliar world, Linda overcame all the challenges of life. She learned to love herself, accept the difficulties, and rebuild her life, creating a new future for herself and her child. This story is not only about love, but also about growth and independence.